Is jobs therefore going to be the biggest issue as we lead up to Mission 2024? Is the Rozgar Mela of the Prime Minister game changer, or is it simply hype? Has the opposition failed to focus on jobs, or has the government failed to deliver on jobs? Are questions we will raise. Joining me now is Syed Zafar Islam of the BJP, its spokesperson, and Anshul Abjit, the Congress spokesperson. Zafar Islam, the Prime Minister announces a Rozgar Mela. Critics of this government are saying, we don't need Rozgars at the moment. First, at least fill in existing government vacancies. We've just seen in Uttar Pradesh for a few hundred jobs, lakhs of people arrived and crowded the center, saying that all these exams have been delayed and there are very few jobs left for lakhs of people who are applying for them. How do you respond? Is this, as the opposition suggests, another event management? Let's have a Rozgar Mela before Diwali. Let's first solve existing government vacancies, says the opposition.
Rajdeep, first of all, let me tell you very candidly two things. One, the government job alone will not suffice, because India is a big country with vast population. You need to create a conducive environment where private companies make investment, foreign companies make investment, and we are able to create jobs. Like Ati Shakti is an initiative. Government has taken various initiatives, and it will create not one, millions of jobs, both white collar and blue collar jobs in private sector as well. But this is something which is Rozgar Mela, with the Honorable Prime Minister is opening on 22nd, is primarily to fill up the jobs. Also, various ministries have come together, and wherever they feel that there is a opportunity for youth to be employed, they are offered to the youth.
But Syed Zafar Islam Sahab, the fact is that 60 lakh posts are reportedly vacant in centre and state governments at the moment. Sanctioned government, central government jobs, sanctioned 41.1 lakhs, filled are 31.1, vacant are 9.9 as on March 1, 2021. So it isn't as if this wasn't known. It isn't as if it required Diwali for the government to wake up to the problem of filling in these vacancies. This should have been done a long time ago.
No, it is always being done. Don't you see the number of EPFO? Don't you see the number of ESIC? Just see the number of people who have joined. Because see, unlike many other countries where on a real-time basis you have the payroll status, and you will get to know how many people have been employed. We are moving to, because Congress had never done that. We are moving in that direction where we will, on a real-time basis, we will have the employment data, how many payroll status. But at least the agencies which actually where the new employees have joined, like ESIC or EPFO, that number suggests that a huge number of people have got jobs.
You're saying go by the EPFO data to suggest that more jobs have been created. I just gave you the example on the ground, sir. Sir, I can give you state after state. If you travel to state after state, those are images I'm showing of UP people, young people going by trains and buses desperately for a few hundred jobs. More than a lakh of people applying for those jobs from the government. Clearly there is a mismatch somewhere. So Anshul Abjit, you've got Syed Zafar Islam pointing towards EPFO figures suggesting that there is an increase in employment. On the other hand, our anecdotal realities on the ground in any state of the country suggest lakhs of people applying for a few thousand jobs. So there is a mismatch somewhere. But it's not an easy problem to solve either. It's not as if in Rajasthan, which is your Congress-ruled state, one of the highest levels of joblessness is in Rajasthan today. So where are the solutions?
No. Rajdeep, first of all, this whole idea is, I really dislike the fact that the Prime Minister on Diwali has turned this, what is a very grave and serious issue, into cheapened it to some kind of Diwali hamper, some kind of festive offering. That you come from season to season and you give something out and then you withdraw, as if that is the solution to your problem. That is exactly what it is, and you said it rightly. It is a jumla, it is rhetoric, it is empty rhetoric, it is smoke and mirrors. There is absolutely nothing is going to happen to it, because I haven't even bothered to look at the details of what this offering is. It doesn't really mean anything at all, because our job crisis is a deeply structural one. It cannot go away with these kind of superficial announcements.
No, I have your number no, but I put before you the fact that in Rajasthan, among the highest level of joblessness at the moment is in the state of Rajasthan, ruled by the Congress for the last 4 years. So while it is easy to pass the buck onto the Modi government and say, what have you done in terms of job creation, in states where you are in power, there is an acute crisis as well.
There is a macroeconomic mismanagement of the job problem right since this government came in. When we were there, when the UPA there was a structural shift from the farm to the non-farm sector to the industrialized formal sector, and that created jobs. You could see that there was job creation because there was also capacity utilization, that there was industrial growth, and because of that there was demand. Those figures are right there in front of you. When that stopped because of bad economic policies of this government, and I'll tell you how. You give me a minute and I'll tell you very, very three important reasons. First of all, your concentration after you took over on capital-intensive industry and not labor-intensive industry. Then you got in demonetization that completely wrecked your informal sector. The informal sector, I might remind you, has about 90% of our workforce. When that is completely destroyed with demonetization, there is no hope in that sector at all. That is why in 2019 we brought up this issue and unemployment was at record levels. This is not a creation, this is not imported, this is not a creation of the pandemic or any other international crisis which the finance minister wants to blame on, and every economic problem in this issue. In this country at the moment, where it's the falling rupee. No, let me just finish. Let me just finish. What happened during the ill-conceived lockdowns was there was a reverse migration as well. So there was disguised unemployment in the rural areas. That's why sometimes the government hangs on these crutches of these kind of figures, because there were low-paying, low-quality jobs that suddenly appeared because there was so much stress. People were willing to work for anything.
Anshul, you made your point. The point I am making is I am looking at the hard numbers. I am looking at unemployment at the moment in the state of Rajasthan. You are claiming it's a macro level issue. I will also point out to you, Zafar Islam, when you say at the outset it's not just about government, it's also about providing private sector jobs. Fair enough. But in government itself, PSUs employed 1.62 million people in 2019. It's now come down to 1.37 in FY21. So you're reducing jobs in government, but you're not supplementing them necessarily all the time with, private sector jobs are not, the numbers show, CMI numbers show that the jobs are not being created to the extent which the government claims. I come back to it, I'm only going by figures. You all are giving me rhetoric. I am going by hard numbers. PSU jobs down and private sector employment and rural employment at the moment is suffering.
Rajdeep, first of all, CMEI data is something I don't think that one should rely, because because you opportunistically use those data. Sometimes you use it only to target. When the data suggests that you have an employment rate has come back to the pre-COVID level, you ignore that number, and when it actually shows little bit that unemployment rate has gone up, then you start showing that number. All the media people do that. You are not the only exception. Having said that, let me tell you a few things which is important. The Congress spokesperson was talking about creating environment. They were all temporary because they had distributed, they plundered the national banks and distributed money. They partly they kept with them, and partly they distributed to the various companies which never took off. But they temporarily employed people. But now where are they? Where are those companies? They had to lay off people. Sir, and all the onus is on to create, just a second, onus is on to create both environment, create industry, come out with industry-friendly policies, and also deal with the NPAs. Sir, today we can say both. No, let me just
no, Zafar Islam, I won't let you. 8 years, you have now been in power for 8 years. What the Congress did, UPA did, they were punished, let's say in 2014, for all their various failings. Now we are in 2022. The fact is, in 2022, 8 years later, the center suddenly tells us it's on mission mode to fill vacancies in government departments and ministries. However, in several BJP-ruled states, Uttar Pradesh is ruled by you, several such jobs, vacancies, examinations held 3 years ago The vacancies have not been filled. So all this mission mode has also, you've woken up also too late. You're waking up because you've got an election in 2024, and somewhere when Arvind Kejriwal came up with the Rozgar Mela, you said it's a Jumla. And when the Prime Minister comes up, they will say it's a Jumla also then.
Rajdeep, you are comparing the period during Corona. It has delayed everything. It's not only exception to India, but globally, everything actually had been pushed behind. But let me tell you today, if there's one country where the opportunities people see, it is India. We are creating enough number of jobs. We know that.
You know, in 2009, unemployment was at record levels.
Please do not tell in between. So let me just complete, and you can please speak on when your turn comes. All I'm saying that you had shown the unemployment rate of 24%, 26% after Corona. Today it has actually pre-COVID level. It has come back. And we have created enough number of jobs, and the system suggests that the unemployment rate has come up. Secondly, in Manrega, the demand of Manrega has come up. How much commitment budgetary allocation was made during the Corona period? Today, he is talking about the rural area. Area, the demand for Manrega job is not there as it was earlier, because people have.
So the Prime Minister reportedly promised 2 crore jobs a year ahead of 2014. 2 crore naukriyan. What happened to that? Somewhere, what happened to that?
Let me allow to respond. ESIC number in last 8 years, 6.8 crore people have joined. Just take the number. Likewise, EPFO, crores of people have joined. Plus, we have created environment. Like for instance, we have given loan to people to set up their own business instead of only looking for a job, because government has its own limitation, cannot give job to every citizen of this country. 20% of the world population lives in this country, and we cannot provide jobs to everyone. But we can make and create conducive environments so that jobs can be created for them. So when you are getting loan from the government, 34 crore people have been given loan. By the government.
Okay,
these people have not only set up their business, but they have also employed people.
Okay, so you're saying, look at your start. Okay, sir, you made your point. My producer is saying, and I want to make a clear, that the Prime Minister never said 2 crore jobs a year, Anshul Abhijit. He said that when I come to power, I will create an environment where 1 crore jobs will be brought into the system. Not 1 crore a year also. But 1 crore fresh jobs will be brought, is what my producer is saying was the exact reality. The point is, Anshul Abhijit, talk is easy. The truth is, whether you are in Rajasthan, your government, or Yogi Adityanath in UP, or indeed Mr. Modi at the center, job creation is not some magic wand overnight. Do you agree? To that extent, the Rozgar Mela should be welcomed. At least it will speeden up the process of filling up these vacancies.
You've cheapened the debate. The Prime Minister cheapened the debate by this Diwali offering. It's a grave and serious structural problem. By the way, job creation is not about ability and competence of individuals. That's a Darwinian argument. It is, I am repeatedly saying, it is a result of bad macroeconomic management. During the UPA times, he walked the talk. Right, because there was capacity utilization. That's why jobs were being created, because there was demand. You could see it. That's why, our GDP actually went to an average of almost 8% for the last
2004 to 2009. There was serious questions 2009 to 14. But we can go on about this. The question is, we will need solutions, whether it's in Congress-ruled governments, BJP-ruled governments, and the center. Whether a job mela on its own can resolve this, huge question. Whether this mission mode approach will yield results, we will wait and see. But I appreciate both of you joining us on that big announcement that has been made by the Prime Minister's office today.